Here's Arne Slot's lawyer.
Exactly. Don't know what to say, right? But yes. I just have to just keep. I need to not let off today, man. I'm telling you, this is just.
Unfortunately, Naya is not joining today because I know he always supports slots. So
No. I told him he needs to join, right? He needs to come on board because I was just on the phone to him about a few minutes ago before we joined.
What did he say he can join?
Yes, he's got to join. I've told him we're waiting for him because he needs to join. Right? There's no excuse. He's in Nigeria. We've just flown into Nigeria, and I'm also in Nigeria as well. So no excuses. So we need to get this going. He's going to be on it because we've got a lot to say, man. I am depressed. I mean, this is just. It's just like we're on the floor. And somebody's just keep beating us down, right? Just keep beating us, and they want to see the end of us. I mean, this is how it feels like right now, and I just can't take this. Now, this is just it's glaring obvious, right? We have a fundamental issue with this guy, this manager. Can somebody tell me what formation we were playing today? Because I thought, what is Gomez doing on the left? He meant to be a right back, and I now realize this nutter, you're playing the biggest game, and you now decided to go and play 3-5-2. Has he lost his mind? They can't even get the basics right. They can't get that. I thought
it was more like a 5-3-2.
I don't. That's why I'm asking the question: what formation were we playing today? I don't know.
It was five at the back. Five at the back. Yeah. Yes.
5-3-2.
Yes. So it was 5-5-3-2. Yeah.
I think Slot already lost this game for the team with the way he set up the team.
Yeah, he is. Welcome.
Yeah, because I don't understand
here's Arne Slot's lawyer.
Exactly. Well said, Maurice. That's his lawyer, right?
Well, I'm gate crashing the podcast because Lady Bar did not invite me personally, but I found a way.
No. You too. I was telling Sanchez that I told you would be busy and all that, so that was why I didn't. You know.
All right. Oh man.
All right. Apologies taken. Apologies accepted.
Okay. You actually needed to come and defend slots for tonight's performance. Yeah.
Oh man.
Actually, let's start with him. Give us your opening statement about your client. Talk to us about your client.
Well, you want me to talk about the game?
No, your client Slot.
You have to defend your client.
No, you're only as good as the players that are there to play. You know, wow. Look, I won't pretend to say the coach got everything right. But when you have players that don't have composure on the ball, that panic whenever they get the ball because I don't even know what, they're just overawed by the occasion. I mean, I'm seeing players like Szoboszlai, you get the ball. Well, even if you don't have a pass on, you got enough quality to hold on to the ball and make sure you put your body there so that they'll foul you like Didier Hamann used to do for Liverpool. But they just panic and run into a blind alley. Gravenberch was doing the same thing and stuff like that. Oh. Look, the coach is going to do what the coach is going to do, right? But the point is the players also have personal responsibility to play football as a professional football player. And a lot of them, what they did tonight was terrible. They lost complete composure. They were overawed by the occasion. I don't care what coaches, whoever coach you are, if your players just don't apply themselves for the quality they have.
Can you put the camera on your face so that people can actually
sorry, because I'm using my phone. I'm not used to using I'm holding my phone in my hand because obviously I'm not in my normal position. So, but anyway, so if the players don't really apply themselves, then I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what tactics you deploy. What happened tonight is what's going to happen tonight. But in saying that, it's the same thing happened last season. We went to Paris, we disgraced ourselves, but Alisson was in goal and saved everything. So we only managed to lose 1-0. This set of players that we have, for some reason, against certain teams, they just get overawed. Against certain teams, like Man City, against teams that keep possession well, against skillful players, they just can't do it. So, but as I said, I'm not going to defend the coach. He didn't get everything right tonight. But at the same time, whatever tactics you deploy, your players have to be able to actually trap the ball and pass the ball to their teammates. And they weren't doing it tonight. And Viets, right? Viets is one of our most skillful players. And look at him tonight. I mean, in front of goal, just sometimes try to shoot the ball. No, don't tap the ball back to the goalkeeper like a 6-year-old. Try and shoot. Because the one of the half chances we had where we actually try and open them up, the ball got to him in the box, they just passed it back to the goalkeeper. What was all that about? Anyway,
and
I'm tired.
Sam, I think Sam is going to take care of Ekitike because I didn't even understand what he was doing today.
No, you said something like you didn't do. You didn't
Actually, there's
get
about
right.
2 players, right? I mean, well, 2 players and the manager I really want to go in for today, right? And one of them, as you rightly said, is Ekitike. That Ekitike now, I don't know, maybe he's hanging around with Jones. And they go to Stanley Park, right? Run around and kick the ball together. In the park football, just kind of do some, they think they're doing some stunt or something. Look, the guy today, Ekitike today, was a disgrace. I'm sorry. And he does all these little things and flakes and things like that. This guy, he thinks, right, he's a showman, but you need to get yourself into a certain level, like the Ronaldo, the Messi, then you will be forgiven. You're not even to that level yet. All this foolishness is doing. This is a proper football. This is you're a professional. Win the game first before you start to do all these little stupid touches, right? Hold the ball. You're the center half. I'm saying center forward. Hold the ball, take the foul, and let's reset. If they're all crowding on you, if about 2 free players crowding on you, don't try and flick the ball. That means there's a space somewhere that you can actually slip the ball to. But this guy, his mind, it is just, this is about me now, right? Let me see how the crowd is going to go mad if I do some madness. I think that is in his head. But I'm glad, I'm so happy that Isaac came on the pitch today for about 5 minutes, because the next game, right, we should be getting that Ekitike guy, right? Look, listen, I know everything is broken with Liverpool right now. We're laughing stock, and the manager is to blame for this, and they don't respect this manager anymore. Everybody does what they want. I've already said that before, a few months ago. This is from Alisson. He told Alisson to kick the ball out. What did Alisson do? He ignored him, man. He actually tried to do some stupid pass. We got robbed and they went and scored, right? That is one of all the senior players. They don't respect this guy. And if they don't respect him, there's no fear of God that when I get to that dressing room, if that was Klopp coming to now face Klopp in a dressing room, you know what's coming. But they're going to say, yeah, he's going to go for one. So it's not the man for us anymore, because right now we need, you don't have to, I'm not saying you should go and start throwing stuff at them like Alex Ferguson, but your presence, this aura about a manager, he hasn't got one. And that is where we're failing. Then we now move on to this idiot. What's his name? What's that? The Gravenberg. This guy's been going under the radar for too long. He's been going under the radar for too long. We've been cussing down Maka. We've been talking about Jones, that they are just too weak. Gravenberg is now the fundamental problem of that middle. How can you let a man, the fact that you saw him, you ran with him. You actually ran with him. You were there. I get that if the guy actually ghosted on you, you didn't see him, he went there and slid the ball in and scored. I said, all right, he's still learning number 6. But you actually saw him. You ran with him and you put a clumsy tackle. The man practically walked the ball in. That's a disgrace. That is not happening against Caicedo. And this is what needs to be addressed. If we need to really want to start competing, we need to now go and get a proper number 6. All these fake fraudulent number 6 that we think, right, oh yeah, that we can put a square peg in a round hole. It's not working. We didn't find out. So Gravenberg, you either stick him up there as number 10 or number L as a winger. I don't want him in that middle. But unfortunately, we've got him to the end of the season. He is the fundamental. He cannot head the ball. He can't tackle. All this way, when he glides past a player, take about 2 or 3 players with one move, they are setting traps for him. And they are robbing him. He needs to change his play. And he kept doing the same thing. That is being found about. Nobody's talking about Gravenberch. But watch him today is one of our problems. One of the biggest problems at that number 6. If he cannot do a one-on-one battle as number 6 for Liverpool, that means you are not the man for that job. And it was a disgrace today. So between him and Ekitike, right, if I've got to rate them, I'm giving them, Ekitike is getting 2 out of 10 and Gravenberch is getting 1. That's how bad they were. Absolutely disgusted today. The tie is done. Forget about what's going to happen at Anfield. This guy, PSG will score against us. Don't let us fool ourselves. They will score. So where is the 3 goals going to come from? I don't see anyone's going to score the 3 goals. We ain't going to score 3 goals. Don't let us fool ourselves. That tie is done. It's over. And this is shame. 2 bloody cups within a week. We're out. No, man, I'm just really livid today, man. Watching the display.
Boris. Boris, so do you have to say?
Oh.
Well, I think the first thing I would say is that we should be grateful to Mamardashvili and PSG's wastefulness. Because otherwise, the tie should have been over. But it's 2-0, and how the scoreline ended 2-0 is still a mystery to me. And in any case, I think, the point has already been made. Yes, we know about the aura of Anfield, but it's very difficult for me to see this team keep a clean sheet against PSG. We are talking about levels. PSG are levels apart. In every area of the pitch and in terms of the manager as well. I've been saying this now since I started taking part in this show. I would have sacked Slot way back in October. And in October, we actually still had a chance of getting back into the title race then. We've just allowed this to fester. So, I would say he might as well just carry on until the end of the season. Finish the foolishness he started. And then and then in the summer, a clean slate. Sorry, hold on. Just one more thing. Despite all the inadequacies that have been rightly identified in the team, a better manager will get more out of these players than Slot. So that's my final point.
I think that may well be right. But when you say, to allow us to get into the title race, no, that's delusional. I'm sorry. This team is not good enough to be in the title race. Then we are not good enough. So this is what we need to. I mean, I'm glad that Sanchez is now coming around to my way of thinking in terms of you can change the manager, but if you have certain weaknesses in the team, right, it don't matter who the manager is. That number 6 is a glaring obvious. We lack pace in the team. It's a glaring issue that we have. So really, you can paper over the crack that maybe because we have a manager that may be able to get extra 2%, 5% out of the players, but it's blatantly obvious that we're not good enough. When you have players that go out there tonight and they're it's a big players. And I just don't understand why we have someone like Szoboszlai has been arguably, between him and Ekitike, but then Ekitike is kind of like leveled, it's tailed off a bit. So Szoboszlai is kind of like overwhelming in terms of who's the player of the season for us. Last game against Man City was shocking. Everybody had been saying, you go play him in midfield. He's played midfield now twice and terrible. He has been, right? When you get him go out there, player of the year, and it's been terrible. against the two biggest teams that we can come across. What chance have you got? And it's the fact. This is another thing that I need to actually talk about in terms of our players. I sent a text to Sanchez tonight before the start of the game. I said our players are just too immature. We have players that, when they start to do these tricks that Ekitike do, when the team that Klopp built, original team before they got old because we ran them into the ground, they were men. Do you know what? Even if Klopp was in there, these teams will go out there and they will play. Henderson, Virginia Wijnaldum. And they're not even, some of them aren't even as skillful as the players we have now. But the players we have now, they're immature in their attitude. You get Szoboszlai where in the FA Cup match, he ran the ball towards his own goal, try and do a trick, and then they scored from it. You get in the first game of the season, we were leading 2-0. That's when we start to see that there's a problem with this team. Szoboszlai tried to do a trick in the middle of the park. They won the ball, broke on us, 2-1. Before you know it, it's 2-2. And then we had to struggle to win that game 4-2 in the end. And that's been happening all throughout the season. These players just, you know what? I'm coming around to the way Sam's thinking about in terms of players not respecting the manager. Yes, I think, because certain things that players have consistently done, I don't think they'll be doing it if they respect him. So I'm sorry, I can't back that anymore because I'm just seeing too many things now where I'm thinking, yeah, I know players are immature, but at the same time, you have experienced players around them that they should really be able to kind of talk to these players. And either the coach is not talking to them or the senior players we have are not talking to them, but something's going on. So, yeah, I can't really say much more than that. I just think there's a big problem. There is a big problem.
Let me ask you a question. Sorry. Let me ask you a question. And I think I raised this in one of our previous discussions. Has Slot lost the players?
I don't know. See, there's one thing I don't subscribe to, right? In terms of when people start to say, "Oh, they've lost the changing room or they've lost the player," because tonight is in they're putting the effort tonight. It's more application. When a player has lost the player, when the coach has lost the players, it's like they're not trying. They were trying. They were trying today. They were trying. I mean, so this is another thing, right? What I made sure I looked at tonight was in terms of the amount of running. Oh, all the other teams are overrunning. They are running us and all that stuff. Well, we had this in terms of the stats tonight. We outrun PSG. I'm running any about quality. You can run and run and run. If you ain't doing anything in terms of quality, it doesn't make any difference. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. Say, this team outrun us. No, it's nothing to do with outrunning. It's about 4 or 5 kilometers in it. But the point is, we didn't have the quality tonight.
No, the running we were doing.
We did not have the quality.
We'll come back to Slot. Let me. Okay, did you see the Liverpool game?
I did.
Okay.
I saw the game, and like I was saying, I was trying to say earlier, for me, Slot lost this game with the way he set up the team. I don't think it is right as the manager of Liverpool Football Club, one of the most historic clubs in England and the world. I don't think it's right for you to go into a game with a loser's mentality. I mean, with all due respect to Paris Saint-Germain and what they've achieved in recent times, at the end of the day, on paper, Liverpool, you do expect them to put up a fight against PSG. Now, irrespective of Liverpool's topsy-turvy form in the EPL as well, we all know that for years, when it comes to the Champions League, Liverpool is a different team. But Slot took something away from them today. And for me, what he took away from the team was the ability to be able to win. So as a manager, if you cannot translate a fighting spirit, if you cannot translate the will to defy the odds to your players, it's going to be a problem for you on the pitch. I think, first of all, not starting Mo Salah was a no-no for me. I know, obviously, Salah is probably not going to press his man, but you don't take away your best players in games like this. And there's always a way you can set up your team to not stress your best players. That's the truth. After Cristiano Ronaldo had that major knee surgery in 2016, what did Zidane do? He just changed the setup of the team to be a bit more like 4-4-2 when they're off the ball. So Ronaldo and Benzema don't have a lot of defensive work to do. Everybody else works for the team. Mo Salah deserves that level of respect because he is Mo Salah. And you know that against the best of the best, Mo Salah would always want to prove that he's one of the best. that was one of the major reasons why he signed a 3-year contract extension, because he felt, I'm still one of the best in the world and I've still got a lot to give to this football club. So first of all, your relationship with your best player is in the gutter. You are not able to. I think Arne Slot is a terrible manager, if I'm being very, very honest with you, because in time past with all that different managers, even when you have mediocre players, there is a way you are able to coach this team as a football unit and also manage the players. Fergie did it, and we saw how average and basic United players were after Fergie left.
Yeah.
To touch on what Sanchez said, regarding having the players at least, or rather having a manager that can bring something out of players and needing experience. Mourinho did it when he went over to United. Take a look at the players he added into the team. He added men, experienced players into the team. I feel like a lot of players have escaped a lot of criticism. At the start of the season, Florian Wirtz was someone who was getting a lot of heat from external fans, not Liverpool fans. But then the truth is that he stopped getting the hits because he became so irrelevant. How do you spend £150 million on a player that cannot impose his presence on the team? The price tag is not the player's fault. I do understand that. But when a club like Liverpool holds a player like that in high esteem, you expect better from him. Because, look, for me, this game, the setup was absolutely abysmal. And I think now the question is, what does the board want to do? I think they need to start thinking about the future and start planning for next season. But the question is, why still stick with Arne Slot? Or maybe there's going to be, the Joker will be pulled out at the end of the season, and maybe Xabi Alonso is coming to take over next summer. But however, like a lot of people would agree with me on this platform, this season for Liverpool might have been salvaged if Slot was sacked in October. That's just the truth. There is that effect of the new manager bounce. There is that effect of the new manager who is demanding new things from these players and saying to them, look, if it's my way or the highway, you might need to go. I have January, I can bring in players that I want. None of that happened. And it's quite obvious that the senior players, they are not backing Slot.
Well,
Virgil hasn't said it verbatim, but it's quite clear.
Excuse me.
Hasn't said it verbally, but in his actions, he has proven it that the hierarchy in terms of senior players, they don't trust Slot and they've lost confidence.
No.
All of the senior players wanted Salah to stay. So for me, Slot has lost the plot, and I believe he lost the tie for them. And I'm honestly quite surprised. Look, I was just watching, while everyone was speaking, I was watching the press conference by Luis and the post-match press conference by Luis Enrique, because I was so sure that Enrique was going to berate his team for not taking the chances missed. And I wasn't wrong. Immediately I opened it. That's the first thing Enrique said. He said, look, we should have scored more goals today, but hey, it's the Champions League. But I can bet you for a fact, once Enrique gets into that dressing room, the attackers are going to hear it. Everyone is going to hear it, because that is the standard in which he holds the team. And that is the reason why PSG are as good as they are at the moment. I think Slot winning the Premier League this last season was due to the fact that every other team was not just as good. With all due respect to that Liverpool team that was majorly built by Jurgen Klopp, I do think one of the major reasons why they did win the league was because every other team was not just good enough and up to standard. And there's one thing about Liverpool that has been happening over the last 2 years, or rather 2 seasons. I'm not talking about the 2025-26 season. I'm talking about the last 2 seasons. The team has almost relied on outscoring their opponents. So it can't work like that, especially in the Premier League. It can't work like that long run, because at the end of the day, teams will calm down and figure out how you do it, how your transitions work. They will block the channels in which you use for your transitions. You need to find a way to play football to the strengths of your best players in a way that you can be competitive in the best leagues in the world. I don't think Arne Slot is of that caliber, without due respect to him. So for me right now, I think it's up to the board as to what they want to do with the club going forward. Klopp gave you a lot of stability. Maybe you didn't win as many trophies as you wanted on that club, but he gave you stability, he gave you structure again, he gave you a foundation. Right now, it's been rippled. That's just the truth. So they need to bring in a manager, a capable manager, not just any manager, someone who they're going to have a conversation with regarding the philosophy of the way they want to play football, and someone who has actually won major silverware. Slot had not won major silverware
Okay. Excuse me. Hold on. So the first thing,
God
the
hit
first
his
thing,
head. So now
the first thing
he's a
that got my
recent.
attention is, excuse me. I mean, I'm on mute. The first thing that got my attention is when you talk about Salah. You said a lot of things there. When you start to talk about your opinion as the truth, I'm sorry. What you said? Oh, if Slot had got sacked, it would have got Liverpool in a better position. That's just the truth. You don't know that's the truth. Anything could have happened. We've seen managers that get fired halfway through the season and it's gone either way. So you can't say that's the truth. But I go back to
But quickly
Salah.
to answer
When you
that,
say,
when you
when you
take
say,
that the
when you say
quality of the
Salah,
players
excuse me,
and bringing a
when
good
you say
manager
Salah, when
to
you
the
say
table.
Salah, football now, when you play football with people like Guardiola, people like, Luis Enrique, you can't play short one. And Salah is no longer Liverpool's best player, by the way. He hasn't been for the last, well, since the second half of last season, and now it's over a year. He hasn't been our best player. Anybody that watch football, if you understand football, you watch football, you can tell that he hasn't been on it. So you cannot tell me that because he didn't start the game today, that, oh, he's our best player. We need to build a team around it. If you play PSG today and you have a player that doesn't work hard, as I said, they worked hard. They just didn't have quality. You have a player that didn't work hard today. I'm sorry. They would have scored more than, I know this is true, they could have scored more. They definitely would have scored more because Salah doesn't work hard. It doesn't apply. It's not dangerous going forward and it doesn't defend. It doesn't do anything for the team. So how you can just say it's our best player? We have to find a way. You can't find it. This is football. Football now, 11 players have to run. You can't carry a passenger, especially when you're playing at that level. You don't see Barcelona carrying a player now. Even Lewandowski, he doesn't get a game week in, week out now because sometimes if they think they have to carry him, they put him on the bench. It's an old player. You can't do it.
But the question is, if not Salah, then who?
Okay.
That's just the sad part about
Okay.
it. So why not utilize what you got?
Okay.
So I'm gonna agree with Okwe here and disagree with you very well, Neyo. You can situate your team to actually carry a player. Man City, our treble season, we carried Alan a lot. Alan was the only one that was not pressing in our formation. We carried Alan a lot of time. Even till today, there are a lot of times in our formation, when we initiate our pressing, Bernardo Silva moves up front to initiate the pressing. If he's not playing, if Foden is not playing, if Foden is playing, Foden moves up front to initiate our pressing. You can definitely situate your team, build your team to carry a player if that player is outstanding, if it gives you something different. Even Pep Guardiola was asked about it in one of his press conferences, and he said, "Yeah, he doesn't need him. He wants him to conserve his energy for the final third." In our treble season, we carried Alan a lot of games where we carried Alan. So I completely disagree with you. In modern day football, you cannot. It's how you build your team. So that's why I agree with Okwe there. You can build your team. And I'm speaking this as a Man City player fan. I watch many of our games where we definitely carry Alan. In our treble season, since Alan had come into Manchester City, we carry him because we give up the fact that, okay, yeah, we are not going to be as controlling as we used to be. If we were more controlling when we were playing with a false nine season before Alan came, we were more controlling even when Aguero was playing than when Alan was there. That's why there are games where you will say, "Oh, Alan had 5 touches, Alan had 2 touches." That's because we have conserved that. Okay, yeah, we know you're not. This is not your strength. Your strength is not to come into the middle of the game and pass this game, press this game, and be add all those things. We are only going to focus on your strengths now. Your strength is going to be what we're going to focus on. We're not going to focus on your weaknesses. We know what your weakness is. The rest of the team is going to carry that. It's how you build your team around that to be able to carry that player. Even again, when carrying of player, let's use PSG. When PSG won all those titles last season, they carried Donnarumma. Ideally, they carried Donnarumma. Let me explain. I know you carry that. The reason they carried Donnarumma
is that the goalkeeper?
The goalkeeper, yeah. Pep's Enrique's formation was he wanted a ball playing goalkeeper. He wanted a ball playing goalkeeper that would be part of the 11-man team. And what did he do? He was like, "Oh, what can we do?" I'm a tactical person, so all what I listened to is tactical. What he said he did was he brought in Vertina to drop in deeper to help with the build up because they didn't have their goalkeeper was not someone they could build that would help them in building up. But he inherited that team at that particular time, right? He wasn't going to just send Donnarumma in the middle of the season away. So what did he do? He found a way around it, right? He already lost Mbappe, so he wasn't going to lose another big member of the team, another leader of the team. What did he do? He said, "This is coming from him. You can Google this." He moved Vertina to cover up for the weaknesses that he had with carrying Donnarumma, in the sense that he could not play to his pattern of what he wanted. He dropped in Vertina, and Vertina was helping with the build-up. If you watch, if you go back to watch games from last season and you see PSG games, you notice it too. Vertina will drop all the way back during build-up, and they'll pass out from the back through Vertina because they didn't have that outlet. As a coach, what you have to do as a good coach is looking at what do I have. These are the weaknesses of the players I have. How can I manage around that? And I do agree with Okpe again, and I think Sanchez said the same thing, or Boris. One of them said if he was sacked as of October, there would have been a lot of time to change Liverpool's season. There have been, if he was sacked in October, there would have been a lot of chances for Liverpool's season to have a turnaround. I'm not saying that everything would have been magically done, but there would have been a lot of differences in where they are. Because if you hire a competent manager, it comes with that new manager bounce. It comes with new ideas too. Slot ran away with the title last season because of all what was happening in other clubs. That was the only reason, and the stability that he inherited from club. That was what took Slot to the title last season. If those changes,
if I just interject, sorry.
Yeah, if those changes, it would have there would have been a lot of changes. So when you say, "Oh, you're only as good at with the players you have," all right. While you were talking, I went through PSG last couple of games against Monaco. Monaco you cannot tell me that Monaco's team is better than Liverpool's team, squad for squad, player for player. Last 4 games against them, even in the last stage in the playoffs before PSG got to this round, PSG escaped that by blinkers. Monaco should have knocked them out. This is not the PSG of last season. They are not as good. Look at the difference between them and their season. They are leading their table. I think the last time I checked was by 3 points. They are leading lengths. And this is a terrible PSG League One season this year. It's not like it's PSG.
Could it just be because they got rid of one of the best goalkeepers in the world?
Allow me to finish.
Or you say they're carrying him.
This is not the PSG of last season, right? This is not the PSG of last season where they were outstanding in all their games, in most of their games, they have been struggling. They have been struggling for most part of the season. They are leading their league by a couple of points against Monaco. Even not for the red card that Monaco had, Monaco was outplaying. Monaco was destroying them. I watched that game. Monaco was destroying them. Even their last game in the league, when it was 11 against 11, Monaco beat the shit out of them. Sorry to cause, but Monaco beat them. So it's not like this is the PSG. They are very outstanding as last season. Monaco beat them just not long ago. Monaco beat them well. Like even in the playoffs at this point, even not for that red card, Monaco beat them. So it's not like the PSG is just one outstanding team. So you cannot tell me that Liverpool's team is weaker than that Monaco team. That's the excuse. It's because the manager is not able to use the resources he has, and that's the truth. You can keep on defending Slot as much as you want and being biased. I'm coming from a neutral perspective. You can defend him as much as you want. The truth is, he's not using the resources. Monaco's team is not better than Liverpool's team. No way. There's no way you can convince me that the current players at Monaco are better than this.
Actually, I agree with what you've said. I agree with what you're saying. At the same time, there's a couple of things, right, that stuck out, which I just want you to realize as well. Last season, I just want you to look at the two differences. Last season, you're quite right. Haaland, they were carrying him, and guess what? Not competing right for that title.
No, I'm talking about my treble season. I'm not talking about last season only. I'm talking about our treble.
I'm talking about this season. You've won a cup. It looks like you're going to win about 2 or 3 cups. But I watch Haaland against Arsenal. The amount of work, pressing, the shape, the defending he did, that doesn't look like somebody that will carry.
What
we're saying, we've got to be very.
they had to bring on the A game against Arsenal.
But if they're no. According to Fab, what he's saying is we can compensate for Haaland. He doesn't have to come back or press. If he doesn't do that, they will lose the game against Arsenal. But what we're saying is he knows.
I said there are a lot of games that we carried him. Of course, there are games that Alan will turn up. Of course, there are games that will turn up, but there are a lot of games that we carried him.
So the bottom.
Let me put it this way: 90% of the games, 90% of the games, we carried him.
Yes, but he can do the job, right? If he's told, right, you need to press. You can do it, but it's manager. But what we're saying is, right, we have got a manager. We are carrying. It's not just Salah we're carrying. We cannot. It's difficult carrying one player, but we're carrying two players. Gakpo, we're carrying him. Salah, we're carrying him. Viet from the beginning, we were carrying him. 3 players you're carrying, and you want to win a game. It ain't gonna happen. We're carrying 3 players. 3 players we're carrying. Now, today, I tell you something. One thing that really came as a shock to me, and I will say to you now, reason why we are falling heavily short. We have got good players, but there are no leaders on the pitch. Klopp can say whatever he wants to say in a halftime. I'll tell you, let me give you an example. This is against Man United. We had Milner playing. And one of our best players, he's been a top player for a very long time, for the last 8 years. This is Van Dijk. He fucked up, and Milner told him, listen, mate, this is not how we do things at Liverpool. He actually destroyed him.
Yeah, I remember that.
That is a leader. We got too many passive players. We got the managers too passive. We got Van Dijk too passive. Now, how are we going to get ourselves out of the rocks? It's impossible. Because you got the captain who wants to take his time, who wants to take it easy, and you got a manager who wants to slow it down.
He's always blaming other people. I think that's one thing I've noticed about Van Dijk. Van Dijk is very terrible this season. He's always blaming. He's always blaming other defenders.
Be so quick to always throw.
Did you see him?
Thank you. You see, it's like he throws his teammates under the floor.
Did you see Van Dijk treading water today?
Mm-hmm.
He makes those mistakes and he throws his team.
He throws Konate a lot. The other time, at the start of the season, he was throwing Keke.
4 penalties.
Now he's Konate.
4 penalties. He's giving away 4 penalties. The biggest amount in the old Europe. These are captain. 4 pen. No one has given away 4 pens. You know, this season. He's done it. But we're still hailing him. Today I saw the worst of Van Dijk. He was giving a pair of heels. He was trading water today. And I said to him, this is the time Van Dijk.
Sam, for social media now. That's what he gives.
Sanchez, it was worse against Man City, actually. That performance against Man City was terrible. But I'll go back to this carrying a player, because I can't let that go. What Haaland, when you say you carry Haaland, is because it's not pressing. What Haaland used to do is Haaland will occupy 2 defenders. How are you carrying a player that occupies 2 defenders? Because the moment you leave the guy, he's going to score. The man is scoring over between 30 and 40 goals. You're telling me you're carrying him. You're not carrying that player because he occupies defenders. What used to happen with Salah when we used to allow him not to do much is because they were doubling up on Salah. So that meant we didn't have to carry him. Now, when he played, they leave him alone. So it's the defender that's meant to be with him. He'll just leave him alone and they'll come forward. And because they know if he gets the ball, they'll catch up with him. That's a liability of a player. He can't run anymore. He's falling off the cliff. It's so obvious. He gets the ball. He gets the ball. Excuse me. He gets the ball. He waffles in front of goal. And what game did we play when he came on? If it's against Spurs, it was sub against Spurs. He came on, and we actually had quite a few opportunities. And the amount of just put the ball through to the man or make a decision in front of goal, and he messed up so many within 15, 20 minutes. The amount of wastefulness this man made on the pitch. Look, Salah has been a great player for Liverpool. I'll never, I know Sanchez, you say certain things about Salah. No. He's been a great player, but he's not a great player anymore. And in fact, the way, if you start watching Liverpool in the last 18 months, you'll be thinking, what the hell, what's going on? What was this guy about? He's starting to tarnish his own legacy. The man is a legend at the club, but right now, the way he's played for the last over a year, it's not good enough. And it's sad to see him. It's sad to see. We can't sugarcoat it.
I feel he should have
he doesn't have you anymore.
He should have left last season. He should have left when the
You know what? It would have been actually. But in saying that, it would have been a difficult call. But we actually saw from about February last season. We saw this. We saw the signs of this. This was happening now from February, not the end of the season. From February, the form is hard. It's been from February.
Yeah.
But obviously, there would have been the clamor, the fans, everything. I mean, I backed. I can't. With hindsight, it was the wrong decision, but I can't lie and say, oh, I wasn't for him staying another year at least. I can't say that. But when you look back,
I know, man.
It was, and the other thing, and to add to that, Sam, I'll let you come in. To add to that, right? When I now look at what Diaz is doing at Bayern, oh my God, if you know what? Because what we effectively did was, so Diaz has his best. He had his best league season for Liverpool last year. That was his best season because Diaz is always kind of like, he always a threat, but it doesn't quite finish his dinner, as they say, right? It doesn't create enough assists and it didn't score enough goals. But last season, it did all of that. So that meant it was a player that was approaching his peak.
Exactly.
But we looked at a player in Salah that was already at his peak, and the only place he can go is down. And Diaz was just getting there, and it could go further and before it turns. And we make that. It was a nail. It's a big time error. It's a big time. It's a big time error to swap it away. We let Salah stay, extended his contract, and let Diaz go. Major. Because what Diaz used to allow us to do, even our midfield players, teams used to defend deep against us. And it gave our midfield players a chance to show their skills, and they had the space. Now they don't have the space anymore because they push up on us. That's another reason why you're seeing the weaknesses in our team now. The spaces that we had last season, where we looked so good, especially first half or three quarters of the season, we don't have that anymore because there's no threat. Gakpo doesn't threaten anybody. Salah doesn't threaten anybody. We don't have anybody through the middle. Ekitike kind of huff and puff, but it messes about. It plays around too much. So team just push up on us now. And we had players like Cucurella coming out to tell us how they were playing against us. They just left up forward and they just come through us. We have some issues.
Of the game. Okay, what's this? No, go on when you're done.
Okay, just very, very quickly. I feel like since Fabinho left, I don't think there's any player that has been bought to replace Fabinho, if I'm being honest. Endo came in as an emergency signing from the Bundesliga. With all due respect to him, his level and his quality is not up there. Ryan Gravenberch was, for me, and he's still a very, very raw talent. I think if Klopp had more time with him, he would have refined him. The Gravenberch that I watched that went through the Ajax Academy, I had an idea of what they were trying to mold him into. But now, if you're going, that's why I said Slot is not a good man manager. Any good man manager, immediately they got into Liverpool, they would have found a specific position for Gravenberch. I don't understand how you would have that player with such a profile and technique, and you're not able to refine him and make him one of your best players. Look, at Madrid, it was quite clear that Tchouaméni did not have a lot to offer going forward. Even while he was playing for Bordeaux and Monaco, he wasn't the player that always bombed forward. But immediately they saw that, they just worked on his strengths and made him one of the best in his position. Now, you're taking a look at Gravenberch, he's like, 23 now, and you can't say for sure either he's a 6 or an 8. Tactically, Slot as well has been weak because the team tactically cannot compete tactically with other teams. The midfield is so flaccid. Are you playing a double pivot? Are you playing a single pivot? You don't really understand when Liverpool is trying to build up. You also don't understand when Liverpool's off the ball. Just take a look at the second goal that was considered, the goal that Kvaratskhelia scored. That just goes to show the state of Liverpool's team right now. It is embarrassing. That goal is embarrassing. So that's why, for me, Slot is to go.
You're right. I was
so
when the second goal went in.
Yeah, but with the Turkmeni point though, Turkmeni has always been a number 6. We tried to buy him. I remember, Sam, we were having this conversation. If we bought that player as a generational talent, as a defensive midfield player, so it's not an attacking midfield player. So let's not compare Gravenberch with Turkmeni. They're not the same player, right?
That's what great managers do.
Gravenberg
You
is
come
number
to a
8.
team, you
Yeah.
see potential.
Gravenberg is a number 8. Gravenberg is a number 8. It's never a number 6. He doesn't spot danger.
Number
He
8.
can't
It's
hit the
never a
ball.
number 6.
I mean, similar to the goal today. Last
In the
season,
Dutch
he
team,
managed to
in the
get the best out of
Dutch
him.
the holding midfielder. For
Yeah,
Ajax,
but
he
you
played
know,
as a holding midfielder.
but look, okay. So what happened last season was even Gravenberg appeared to be like he played as a number. We played double pivot, but McAllister's form last season covered a lot of deficiencies of Gravenberg as a more of a defensive midfield player. But Gravenberg, but McAllister this season hasn't been there. So that's what's exposed Gravenberg this season. If McAllister had played up to the same level he was playing last season, we wouldn't be seeing the weaknesses that we're seeing in Gravenberg this season. So a lot of those kind of go hand in hand. But that weakness has always been there. It's just last season, Maka was at a better level and it covered up for him. It's not number 6.
No,
Okay.
It's never number 6.
The second leg at Anfield next week, we already 2 goals down. Let me get a quick prediction. Do you see a comeback, or it will be PSG finishing the job at Anfield? Naya, what's your prediction for that?
So if we all go back to the game last season, it was a mugging. We mugged them off, right? Because there's no way we should have won that game. I thought they put us under more pressure. They actually had more pressure. Alisson, because Mamadashvili tonight, I don't think he made any saves. Last season, Alisson had this game for Liverpool in terms of the amount of shots he saved us in the game. Right? Now, if we go back to the game at Anfield, they battered us in Paris. The game at Anfield, if Salah had the shooting boot on, we should have been 2-0 up in that game. We were all over there. We were all over. So there's nothing to say that the same thing that happened last season can't happen this season if we took our chances, right? So, and I will never write Liverpool off playing at Anfield on a European night because they battered us over there. We took them back to Anfield, and for the first half hour, really, if we took our chances, we're talking about a different game. But we did, and then they managed to get a goal, which I thought, something happened. I can't remember who made a mistake or whatever. It was a game of it was a little bit of luck in that game, and that was it's typical, isn't it? Right? Yes, it was back. Okay. But so this is the reason why I'm not gonna sort of say that we don't have any chance, because if PSG could be so good against us in Paris and they come to Anfield and we really, the way we played, we didn't score a goal in like 120 minutes against them, right? So anything's possible, but at the same time, 3-1 to Liverpool. 3-1 to Liverpool.
Okay, 3-1 to Liverpool, and we'll go
3-1 to the Red Men. We'll beat them on penalties this time around.
Okay, so Liverpool to advance to the semi-final. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I like your faith. Boris, what's your prediction for the second leg?
Well, I'll like to share Neo's optimism. Because one thing with PSG, as good as they are, they give you chances. So it all comes down to moments. So, but at the same time, I'm not convinced that we can keep a clean sheet against them. So, as it pains me, I would say 2-1 to Liverpool.
2-1 to Liverpool, and Liverpool to advance to the semi-final.
No, Liverpool.
PSG. Okay, 2-1. Okay. Yeah. PSG to advance. Okay. Okay, what's the prediction?
Man, I wish I could give this prediction on Monday, probably after the game that Liverpool plays this weekend. Maybe the reaction from the team might give me a bit more confidence. I might change my mind. But if it's judging by what we saw tonight against this PSG team, knowing that PSG is going to be coming well rested again.
Yeah.
There's no optimism from me, if I'm being honest. It will be difficult for me to give a specific goal line prediction, but I just don't see how Liverpool goes, or rather qualifies for the semi-final.
So Liverpool out.
Pressure on Sam. Pressure on Sanchez.
Sam. Yes.
It's rubbing
What's
his
your
head.
prediction? What's your prediction?
My prediction with this, the fact is 100%, this is guaranteed they will score against us. So the question is, can Liverpool get 2 to 3 goals? That is what I'm fighting with right now. I'm in between Boris and Nayo in a way. I think we'll win the game at Anfield. I'm not so sure, right, if we're going to go through. But I've got to predict. Can you give 2 predictions? It has to be one.
One, mate. One.
Sanchez,
one.
Before you answer,
I have to decide.
Ask yourself is has Anfield been the same under Slot before you give your prediction? Just that's
sorry, Okwe, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, Okwe? Sorry, wait.
Has Anfield been the same under Slot?
No longer a fortress.
That should be the last consideration, in my opinion.
Well, it was against the Turkish team. You ask the question. It is what it is, right?
Levels.
I will buy the bullet.
Okay.
I will buy the bullet. I will buy the bullet with the
network is breaking.
The network is hurrying you up, Sam.
Yeah. I can hear you.
I predict 2-2 basically. So I can't. Yeah, I predict 2-2 because unless if Isak starts, Ekatike ain't gonna do it for us.
No.
Can't see where the goal is gonna come. If I know guarantee Isak is gonna play 16 minutes, I think I would say we may probably nick it. We'll probably go 3-1. But I can't see it happening. That Ekatike guy, right? I don't know what he's been smoking before he gets on the pitch now, and he doesn't even last 70 minutes. He plays 70 minutes, right? He got hooked up again today. Hello, knackered with all his flicks.
Okay, so 2-2.
2-2
your prediction. That means Liverpool is out then.
Well, I'm the only one predicting a win to go through. So.
Okay.
Well, I seriously hope that Neo's right.
I
really hope Neo's right. Yeah.
It would be a miracle.
I hope so too, mate. I hope so too.
As much as we want him to be right, really, we got to be realistic with these.
They got to be realistic.
Yeah. I don't know. If it's 1, Nayo could be right, but I can see them scoring more than 1. But we're not going to lose the game on a night, but we're not going to win.
Wow.
In the tie. We'll not lose to them at Anfield. We will not
okay.
Lose to them.
So my prediction is Sam. So my prediction is from my heart, right? The head tells me we can lose the game on the night, Sam. I'm telling you that. When you get a really bad Liverpool, we can lose properly on the night. Right, but my heart's telling me we can win, but my head is telling me we get a bad performance, and that team is capable of a bad performance, mate.
Yeah.
We can get proof for the ringer.
The trouble is,
tonight could have been 7-0. Tonight could have been 7-0.
True.
Yeah,
true.
That would be the aggregate scoreline. It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in Paris last season, it could have been 7-2 last season.
Okay.
So.
Sam, your network is breaking.
We take that 7-0, will have been sacked tonight, and that will have been actually all right. My network, I bet this is what we go to. When I come to my lovely country, and it's not.
What
stable.
a welcome that would have been.
What can I say? I beg you. Yeah.
Okay, so quick one
the
before we
network
go.
is breaking just like
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Yes.
So
Welcome to Nigeria.
yeah,
Okay.
Nigeria network, we're breaking like Liverpool.
Okay, quick one
So
before we
it's
go.
2-2 for me.
Liverpool
That's
Fulham
it.
this weekend.